Hey loves, I'm finally doing a Q&A. I don't really like long videos, so let's jump right into it. Okay, so some of these names I may end up butchering, so I will not call everyone's name out, but I will list it so you guys can see the question. The first question is by Miss B 1982-2010 asks, what made you major in architecture? In the summer of 2009, I took an interior design internship at a smaller design firm here in Atlanta, and it was the first time that I saw a female architect who was also a minority. I didn't grow up realizing that I could be an architect. It was never a field that was considered an option for me. I guess I always considered it to be a male-dominated field, in which it is, but it was never something that I thought that I could do. And also during that same time, that was when the economy was going down, so the first people that they would let go of the design firms were the interior designers, and then they would keep the engineers as well as the architects because they felt that they were more valuable. So I wanted to make sure that I was somebody important to whoever decided to hire me. That way I had both knowledge of both interior design as well as architecture. And that firm, would find me to be very valuable and very important. So I wanted to make sure that I had a job. In Over My Head asked, what are you planning to do with your degree? Well, I actually want to combine my master's degree, which is in architecture, with my undergrad degree, which is in interior design. And then eventually use that to work in a design firm specializing in healthcare. That can be anywhere from hospitals, cancer centers, adult daycare centers, children's hospitals. So anything healthcare related is how I intend on using that. Sai Siska, are you going to pursue your PhD? No. Well, at this very moment, currently, right now, no. I'm tired of school. I've been in school since I was a wee baby, and I need a long break. Lisa Loves 3. What are your plans now that you have graduated to get a job in a field of healthcare design? It could be an intern architect, it can be an internship as a start, but something that I'm working and getting some type of income out of, as well as maybe on the side being able to continue to do a little bit of YouTube videos. I actually enjoy doing it. Really Me 02 asks, so where do you want to work if you are not already working in your field of studies? If we're talking about location, anywhere outside the southern region, just because I've been here for a very long time and I am a military brat, so I'm used to moving around. I love the South, don't get me wrong, but I just want something a little bit different. I like change. Lover of My Soul asks, does your architectural training help you create your hairstyles? If so, how? They do, actually. With architecture, you look for innovation all around to, create these aesthetically pleasing buildings, as well as, they got to be functional as well. Things that are new, whether that's taking an old idea and taking pieces of that to make it more relevant for what's going on now. So, for example, a lot of you guys ask me as far as where do I get my inspiration from. I see a lot of images, whether it's on Pinterest or it's online, as well as from previous YouTubers. They'll do a style with the goal of what you want to do is kind of like take that style and then try to add your own to it, do a little revamp of that style. You want to make it relevant for what's going on now. So with hair, you want to create something that's not only aesthetically pleasing, that's going to look good, but you want to create something that is actually wearable, that people are going to actually be able to go to sleep in, they're going to be able to wear it the next day. Not just something that looks pretty, but something that they continue to wear. 7S345 asks, what is the first building or structure you plan or dream on constructing, and why? My dream would be to do like a hospital of some sort that catered to people with disabilities, or you know, it doesn't even necessarily have to be people with disabilities, but a hospital of some sort. A lot of us are getting older, and especially this generation where our parents, my parents for one, are, you know, living a lot longer. Example, my grandmother, who lived to be 94. We all need something that kind of cater to us to make us feel comfortable and inviting, and we don't want to necessarily be reminded of death or anything like that, but we want to be in an environment that's going to make us feel good about ourselves, make us want to continue living, and that caters to us. That Nori C asked, were you able to work and attend grad school full-time, and do you currently have experience in architecture? I started grad school in fall 2010. I was in a 3.5-year program because I had my undergrad degree in a different field from architecture. But during that time, from 2010 to about 2013, I was a full-time student, and I had a graduate assistantship within the school that I worked. So I think it was like 20 hours a week or something like that. So that wasn't too bad. And then, do I currently have experience in architecture? I don't think I do, even though others were probably qualified that I have some type of architectural experience. I only have experience in interior design. Though, if you are in school, I do recommend you getting an architecture internship or something like that while you're in grad school. While you're pursuing your degree in architecture, it helps with you finding a job. Everybody wants you to have like 10 years experience before you graduate, so go ahead and try to find something. Porno playlist. You asked a lot of questions, but let's see. Ones I will answer are: where do you get the inspiration to create your hairstyles? Are you this creative in other aspects of your life? Nature, other YouTubers, pictures, just by doing it. I'm a firm believer as far as, like, you know, you won't know how to do anything, to just play around with your hair. And what I'll sometimes do is I'll do a style on my head, and I'll just walk out in public and see what kind of actions I get. And if it's a positive reaction, then I know that it's something that worked. And if it's not, then just go on and try something else. Go back to the drawing board. Am I creative in other aspects of my life? I would think so. I like to draw. I like to paint. I do sculpture, ceramics. I'm a grandma. I like the garden. I like landscape. I like anything that involves design. So I want to say I can do a lot of things if I put my mind to it. Porno playlist asks, if you could do it all again, as far as college, what would you change? Well, for starters, what I would have did differently is I would have took out less student loans to pay for schooling. I would have tried to get a part-time job in the earlier years of my college career. That way I wouldn't have to worry about trying to pay for all these loans that I have accumulated over my undergrad and graduate years. Have you ever considered investing more time and money into your channel and possibly doing YouTube as a second gig? That's from Porno Playlist. I have. Say Courtney Green, hi, I'm planning on getting a master's in architecture. Was finding and developing your thesis difficult? And how long did it take to complete your thesis? Girl! Ooh! No, it wasn't necessarily hard to develop it because I kind of already knew what area I wanted to go into. Mine was on the visually impaired, and with the chair that I had, she kind of helped me narrow it down. I knew I wanted to do some type of disability group. It was actually between the hearing impaired and the visually impaired, and since I was able to find more on the visually impaired, I went with that one. So it wasn't hard to really develop it, but it did take me a long time with my thesis because it was more detailed. It was more of an intimate project. There was a lot of different aspects that I had to create, but a lot of people have also been able to do their thesis within the year or two of time frame that is given to them. It took me, you see, I started working on my thesis in like 2012, and then I took a break 2014 and partial half of 2015, and then I came back to finish it up from fall 2015, spring 2016. So it took me a minute to work on my thesis, but you may finish it just on time. Okay, Jenny Love asks, want to know any and everything about how I juggle schoolwork, social life, and everything in between. So I was fortunate enough to have a really good group of peers in graduate school that I got along with. We didn't sleep that much, but we were literally in our studio all the time. Sometimes we even slept in the studio to work on projects. We did a lot of all-nighters, which is not good for your body, so just know that. Our social life was each other, so what we'd do is like when we had lunch or anytime we went out or went to the so-called club, we would go together. Yeah, my life was school. That was basically what it was, school. And then when I came back last year to finish up my master's, it was school and YouTube, and that's it. No dating, none of that. School and YouTube. Hopefully I was able to answer the majority of you guys' questions. And if you have any additional questions, of course, just leave them down below and I will try my best to answer those questions. Stay tuned for part 3 of this video. Deuces.